What's up, y'all? I got a banger from the wall. Let's get straight into it.
About a year ago now, January 9th, I get a text message telling me to get a DNA test from Ancestry. And I think it's fake. I FaceTime my friend and I'm like, listen to this. And she's like, I swear, my gut's telling me this is real. You need to respond. So I respond. And then they write me back. I was shook that they responded. And I let them know that I'd already done 23andMe the year before because it was on sale and I was hoping I was going to find that I was like secretly exotic or related to royalty.
Stupid.
But I'm just English and Irish like I thought I was.
Basic.
They even made a burner account on Facebook to message me and my husband saying I need to get a DNA test from Ancestry.
Those eyebrows, though.
They would not provide me with any sort of proof that this was real. And obviously I called my mom immediately saying, what the fuck? So a little backstory. My parents divorced when I was 9. I was very close with my mom, and she always told me the story that, like, she was an alcoholic and my dad cheated. My dad was a cheater. So when I called her and she says, I know exactly what you're talking about. I had an affair. I almost fell
out of my freaking chair. Sorry, I just don't want all the F-bombs. Goodness gracious.
She had an affair with a guy 10 years younger than her when she was in college. They went away for like a weekend or something, and it was a one-time thing, but he even saw her on campus and said, is that mine? And she denied it.
Oh.
This bitch either gaslit herself or thought she was going to take this shit to her grave. Imagine? So I order an Ancestry test immediately. It takes about 6 weeks to get my results back, and ding, ding, your results are in. I find out that, yes, this man is my father, this stranger. So I message him immediately. And
what's up, Dad?
He lives in California. He's British. What the fuck?
He's British? It's so random. Maybe that's where she got the eyebrows.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Just saying.
He said my mom sent him a Christmas card when I was 2 years old saying my name in it, and that he's Googled my name ever since. And in 2007, my name popped up and he saw a picture of me and he knew immediately that I was his daughter. So he emails my mom wanting to get in contact with me, and she denies it and kind of threatens him and says, please do leave us alone. Do not ever contact me again. She's mentally unwell and something bad would happen. She might harm herself if she ever finds out. So what did he do? He followed me on social media my entire life. He watched me date my boyfriend, get married, have babies, everything, all from the outside, not able to know me. I'm telling you, this picture freaked me the fuck out. I have so
That is your daddy.
much more. Let me know if you want a part 2.
Hell to the no, no, no. Hell no.
We don't care. Newsflash, honey, we don't care. Very interesting story, though. I was really getting bought into the lore here. You know what? Let's get back in. I'm too deep now. It's like watching a bad show. Have you guys ever watched a really bad show and you're like, I'm too many episodes in? The bad show that I watched, it was something with Cass. It was Outer Banks. It's a horrible show, but we ended up watching like 3 seasons of this shit show. But I'm too deep now. Like, if a new season comes out, I have to finish it.
But let's see the second part.
So 2007, right?
that
He
face.
contacts my mom and she tells him to leave us alone and never contact us again. The following year, I moved to California. That's where I went to beauty school. He was actually living in Southern California
How
at the same
ironic.
exact time. And he was able to see where I worked and where I went to school because, again, he followed me on social media. Which, like, I could throw up at. Like, to think of what he saw. Like, was it Facebook? Was it MySpace? Like, I hope to fucking God it was
God, she cusses a lot.
not my Tumblr. Like, he drove past my work once. He even called, I guess, to hear my voice. He asked what time we closed or something. He was even going to come in for a haircut, but his wife talked him out of it. She was convinced that I would recognize him, but I swear
I mean, you
wouldn't
look just like this man.
have, because never did I ever in a million years suspect this. I have 2 older sisters from my mom's first marriage who would say that my dad loved me more than them because I was his biological daughter. So growing up, it wasn't really weird that I didn't look much like anybody because my two sisters are from my mom's first marriage. And if anybody ever commented on like my eyebrows or like my nose, my mom.
I kind of commented on your eyebrows. I'm sorry, honey. I could not help myself. They're insane. It's like an upside down Nike swoosh. It's impressive.
Mom would say it was all from her. Or she would bank on the fact that the man who raised me, his whole family was dead. So she said I must look like somebody on his side. What else can I tell you? Oh,
you know what's really telling is that her mom is so immature and childish that she's like, yeah, honey, she's just trying to gaslight her daughter and be like, yeah, honey, I didn't get ran through in college. Nothing happened. You look like somebody on that side. Like, this is why I always say women grow old. They never grow up, man. They act like children.
I have two little sisters. I say little, like one of them's 2 years older than my son. If he was going to have a boy, he was going to name his son my son's name. And for both of his daughters' names, he had my daughter's name on both of their lists. And both of his daughters' names were on my list for a baby girl. He's a marine biologist. And before I decided to go to beauty school, I toured a school for marine biology. So from 2007 on, he did nothing but watch me through social media go throughout my life. Nothing happened until January this year when I got that message on Facebook.
That's wild.
Maybe you're wondering who sent this text message. Well, that's a whole nother story because it was actually, I think, his brother's son who has a similar story to me.
Whoa.
Like found out later in life that
This man was getting in there. He was blasting in. Oh man, I'm sorry, but you can't be a tool. You can't be a fool. You got to wrap your tool. You got to put a little Jimmy hat. In college, I knew that.
And was his biological father and didn't want me to go through that. I mean, too late, but I guess he just wanted me to know the truth. So unfortunately, this did sever my family and it did destroy the relationship between me and my mom.
Good.
There's a lot more that goes into this, but you can imagine that a secret of this magnitude requires a lot of lying and betrayal and manipulation to keep it up for this long.
Yeah. Your mom's a bad person.
Cutting my mom off is one of the hardest things I've ever done. Never would I have ever expected it. We were like this growing up. I used to tell people she was my soulmate. And yes, I actually did meet him. Let's go to this soulmate thing. I have to talk about this. I don't know if we've talked about this a lot. This is something that you see with only children a lot of times, or only sons or only daughters, things like that. But it's called being a son husband or a daughter wife. So with this chick, she's like, my mom was my soulmate. Essentially what she's saying is she was probably raised by a single mother.
Now you a single mom. Now you a single mom.
So being raised by a single mother when you have one child, even if she had multiple children, she could say, oh, you're my soulmate, therefore insinuating that you are now a daughter wife. You pick up a lot of the duties and the emotional baggage that a typical partner would have for the parent, but then they put that on the actual daughter or the son. This happens more with son husbands. You see this all the time. Guys living with their moms until they're well off into their 30s, if not even in their 40s, because their mom is either a widow or she is married to the husband, but things are weird. The son stays at home to be a proxy for what the husband should be, right? What the husband would be. So don't be a son husband. Don't live with your mama till you're 40. Even if you're like, I'm waiting to get that good job, bro. Get out, be homeless before you live with your parents. I got two things that you should do. You want to become a man? Disappoint your parents, number one, and number two, move out of your freaking mom's house. It'll teach you a lot. I disappointed my parents a lot as a kid. Therefore, when I got older, I was so used to rejection because I had my own family reject me, right? It's tough. But then as soon as I went to college, I never moved back home. Not for a semester, not for a day, not for a summer, not nothing. I stayed at school, and I was like, I'm going to live at school during the summer. I'm going to figure it out. I'm a couch surf. I'm going to do something. I'm not moving back home. But when you have that and you say, hey, I would rather be homeless and move back in with your family, bro, it's exactly where you need to be if you want to be the man that you want to be. But don't be a son husband. Don't be a daughter wife. This is a whole other, we could do a whole video on this though, but it sounds like this girl was a daughter wife.
Got back 2 weeks ago from California, so I'll do a separate video on that if you want.
What the?
This girl has gone through some things, bro. Some things.
She had 2 daughters from a previous marriage.
Good Lord. Oh my God, this part 3.
Let me begin by apologizing for my stupid use of the word exotic in my last video. I did not mean it in a bad way, but
Honey, we can tell you're exotic by those eyebrows.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
I mean, like, dude, it's almost like Majin Buu. Like, those are seriously curved. Like, how do you, like, look at mine. Mine are, like, flat. How do you even get that?
people in my comments kind of educated me, and I will not be using it like that again. Also,
Oh, don't let them bait you. You said exotic. It is what it is.
my mom was not 18 dating an 8-year-old in college. She went back to school for teaching. She was 35. He was 25. Still a crazy gap.
Yeah.
But it was like a one-time thing, drunk, but whatever. So we were talking by email for a couple months, and he was like, do you want to meet? And initially he had recommended that we like meet up with our families, but I was like, I think we should meet like you and me first. Coming from a broken family, there's like this hole inside of me, I guess, like was hoping that he was going to fix me. And I really tried to go into it with like an open-minded, low expectations, but I am me, so.
Honey,
I imagine
nobody's
how
going to fix you. You're a grown woman.
I would greet like my long-lost child of like, you are so beautiful, let me look at your face. And he was not like that. I felt sort of insecure, and there was not a lot of eye contact. I felt like he was not interested in what I had to say. I felt like I was stupid. I felt like he didn't like me. I'm sure he'd be horrified if I heard that, but that's just the truth. I mean, I'm a very warm, talkative, funny, goofy person, and he is not like that. So it could just be who he is. He could even be just trying to respect me as an adult, but our interactions left me feeling very confused and very invalidated.
Oh my God.
I was there for like
As a grown woman with kids, he didn't validate me. God.
5 days. We met up like once or twice a day to like hang out, go out to eat or something, and every time I felt like I was prying information out of him, and I just felt like he didn't like me. I was a-okay until the last day, and then I got very emotional because I guess I was just hoping by the last day it would be different, and when it wasn't, it was just hard. And we even went to his house for dinner that night, and I'm walking around his house, and it's like the pictures of him on the wall, it's like looking at pictures of me. He looks exactly like me.
No, you look exactly like him. You're his daughter.
So weird. Also, watching him interact with his other daughters was painful. Like, of course, I'm not stupid. He's going to act completely different around them than with me.
You're grown.
But I guess after a week of feeling like invalidated and like he didn't like me,
You're a
and then
stranger
watching
to
him
him.
around his daughters, it was so hard. I went in the bathroom and cried.
This is why I say women grow old, they never grow up, dude. This is a grown woman with kids talking about, he didn't validate me, he didn't do this, You're grown. He's treating you like an adult. You're not his little girl anymore. You have a kid of your own. Like, what are you talking about? Like, if my dad was a degenerate. We've talked about this, I think, though. But my dad was a degenerate. If I saw him again, I haven't seen him in like over 15 years, but if I saw him again, I wouldn't expect him to be like, oh, my little son, I'm 33, dude. I'm grown. I'm bigger than him. What are you talking? No, he's not going to treat you like a kid. First of all, you're a stranger. And second of all, you're grown.
So here I am back in New York, and yeah, I hope that our relationship continues to get better, but
Stupid, dude.
What can I say about this?
It's just so dumb. Like, why are you expecting all of this from him when you are literally an adult just like him? You're an adult. Why would you expect anything different from him?
she was actually like abused.
85% of men
Was
Here we go.
I just want to start by saying cutting my mom off was probably the hardest thing I've ever done. People used to say, like, what's your biggest fear? And like over myself dying, over spiders, over heights. I would say my mom dying 100%. Trying to imagine life without my mom was my biggest fear. So the fact that I have chosen to do this I would have never believed you if you told me that I did this. She moved to New York a couple years ago And it was like the best thing that ever happened to me. I haven't lived near her since I graduated high school. And we were probably like unhealthily close.
Yes, being like this, being soulmates with your mom is unhealthy.
Because my parents divorced, I spent most of my time with her. And
Eesh. Daughter,
we
wife.
were like this. She had gotten super sick for a period of time. Like I was her primary caretaker in high school. She had a back surgery that got staph. And it was just, I was the one that had to take care of her. So we were very, very close. So after
You're wiping your mama's booty. That's what that means. I mean, shout out to her. Like, I'll take care of my mom, but like, I'm not gonna be wiping my mom's butt, dude. Like, I'm putting you in a home. It's gonna be a good home, but I'm not gonna be that. Like, my mom did that. She took care of my grandmother, and like, bro, they started to hate each other. It was bad. By the end of it, it was really bad. Like, they were so mean towards each other, especially my grandmother. Like, I don't want that to happen to me. I don't want my mom to be mean to me or despise me. I want her to live a graceful end of her life. You know what I mean?
she moved here right before COVID started, I noticed how much she was not doing great. She went to rehab in like 1999,
She's
I
an
think, and
addict.
quit drinking, or so she said. I mean, she's a liar, so I don't know if I can believe anything she says. But my sisters and I have felt that after she got off alcohol, she turned to other vices. Like she's a shopaholic, like crazy. And also, she loves her some Xanax and Ambien. So I
Still
unfortunately had an ectopic
addict.
pregnancy over Christmas during COVID. And I was in the hospital for like weeks because of it, on and off. And my husband had to stay home with our kids because there was nobody to watch our kids. And my mom, living here, could have helped us out, but she wasn't able to because she was lying to us the whole time. And she was actually like heavily abusing drugs. So Christmas Eve, 2020, I found out that I get to go home from the hospital and I don't have to have like a full surgery to remove the fetus from my stomach. So I find out I get to spend Christmas with my family. I'm on my way home, driving home from the hospital, and I get a call from my mom saying, I'm really sick. I need your help. I have a stomach virus. So of course I go straight to her, and I find out by stomach virus, she meant that she took a month's supply of her Xanax and Ambien in like a week and was withdrawing.
Stupid.
So I get there and she's like pressuring me to buy drugs off the street and bother my husband's family and ask them if they can find drugs.
Bro, this is why, like, if you have drug abusers in your family, degenerate druggies, like, bro, you got to cut them off. I'm sorry, it sucks. As much as you want to help them, people have to help themselves. This is why I preach always, like, you got to fall in love with yourself before you fall in love with anybody else. If you don't choose to fall in love with yourself and respect yourself, nobody else, no matter how much they help you, you're never really going to get to a point where you're going to be successful. I have a brother, completely institutionalized, been in and out of prison for the past 10, 15 years. He just got 10 years, like 6 months ago. He got 10 years in prison because he won't change his ways. Some of my family members ask me, well, why don't you write him? Why don't you talk to him? And in all honesty, what I say as a man is I have nothing that I want from that man, and I have nothing that I can offer him that's going to help him. He doesn't want to help himself, number one. And number two, what is he going to do for me? Doesn't even have a high school education, dropped out of high school, complete degenerate. I saw him at like a family funeral, and it was like looking at somebody who was 16 in a 40-year-old's body. I was like, what are you doing? He's also 10 years older than me, maybe even 12. Complete degenerate. So I've never felt that thing on the inside to say, hey, I really need to go get to know this guy. He's a degenerate. Same thing with my dad. I don't feel like I need to get to know these guys. So if you guys have family members that are in this category, drug abusers, alcoholics, institutionalized, violent, they're gang members, dude, cut them off and move on. Sometimes it's very hard to cut your own family off, but sometimes it's the best thing you can do because they're going to hold you back. And the more people hold you back, the less you can progress. You're going to start climbing a ladder in life where you're becoming the best version of yourself. You're going to climb this ladder, and you always can't lend a hand down and bring the person up with you. Sometimes you have to put both hands on the ladder and keep climbing. That's just how it is. And us as men, we have to realize that. And we have to learn which relationships to hold on to and which relationships to let go of. It's a harsh reality, but it is what it is. Once again, getting a little sentimental. I don't know why I'm jumping into these, man. Sometimes I like to get a little sentimental with these episodes. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys tomorrow, man. Peace.